Hello, Facebook. I'm Brad Tassell. By the way, I did want to tell everybody something. My dad had a small stroke on Father's Day. I don't know if y'all knew this. This is true. My dad had a small stroke on Father's Day. He's doing great and getting better. I asked him last week how his memory therapy has been going, and he said, I don't know. I keep forgetting to go. Let's start the show.
Bartleby Records brings you a Kvetchmas Carol from Steve Goody and Brad Tassell, all your favorite classics.
Rudolph dropped a package on my rooftop. Now we can't get anywhere near the tree.
You know Herschel and Harry and Larry and Tevye.
They just changed their Hebrew names
to make it in showbiz.
All out of paper, all out of bows, all out of tags. Who's this? Who knows? I'm running on fumes. Just about empty, but look at that pile. It's way too many.
We did the two-step Christmas. They had step families all over town, but my folks had stayed married, so I got left out.
And of course, the miracle that is
Grandpa got run over by a hybrid walking through the Whole Foods parking lot.
And many, many more. Order yours today at www.stevegoody.com and come to the CD release exchange.
Hannibal Greatneck III walked into his new 6th grade class, and there was a cage. It sat among the desks like a benign tumor everyone had learned to try and ignore. There was a mystery here, and Handy was just the 11-year-old detective for the job. Don't Feed the Bully, the best-selling tween novel by Brad Tassell. Get it on Kindle or paperback at Amazon.com. We hope you're enjoying 1000 Marriage Questions. We love doing this show. Do you know it takes a lot of time and work to put this show together? So if you enjoy the show and have the means, consider donating to the show. We will use the money to pay for food, mortgage, education for our kids, paying for this platform. You get it. We are comedians without comedy, doing whatever we can to entertain America. If you can help, we'd appreciate it. Go to virtualcomedyshow.com and click Donate to 1000 Marriage Questions. That again, virtualcomedyshow.com. Donate to 1000 Marriage Questions. 1000 Questions is an entertaining discussion of marriage. We aren't telling you to do or feel or change anything about your life. Really, just listen and enjoy. And if you need real help, find a professional for your specific problem. We don't know you. How could we speak to your deal? Okay, have fun.
Hello, Donna.
I made it.
You made it. I played as many commercials as I had till you got here. Yeah, and I didn't have that many. So, hey, you didn't. By the way, before we start anything else, you didn't see the comedy clip I played in the beginning, did you?
I did not. I did
not. I'm going to play it again because it's pertinent. Hello, Facebook. I'm Brad Tassell. By the way, I did want to tell everybody something. My dad had a small stroke on Father's Day. I don't know if y'all knew this. This is true. My dad had a small stroke on Father's Day. He's doing great and getting better. I asked him last week how his memory therapy has been going, and he said, I don't know. I keep forgetting to go. Let's start the show. So I'm terrible, but so the question is, what's your health? What's with your posts?
I'm having a small heart attack. That's like what's happening.
Yeah, so I know, but you went.
It's this genetic thing, right? So it tends to affect women between 30 and 60, which happens to be me. Talking like I'm not one to be as hard as it is to believe. I am not one to be overly dramatic when I'm stressed out. I tend to internalize it and shut it down. And so for females who internalize their stress, it still takes a toll on your body, and you might not realize that you're piling it on. So it turns out this time of year, this time of year is the peak of stress. Last year I had a mini stroke, and this year I'm having a heart attack. Yep. So it's actually called a SCAD attack. Okay, it's called a SCAD attack. And SCAD is when your veins are in layers, and when one of the layers separates and the blood gets in between, and then that layer starts to bend and the blood kind of starts backing up a little bit, it's like seriously beyond painful. It's worse than labor pains, and it just is painful until that that moves. So, it was like 5 days, lovely Christmas holiday of extreme pain. And now it's way less. It's like 90% less. But it still hurts a little, which means it's making its way and finishing up doing its loveliness.
What is blocking your artery or vein?
A layer of the vein. A layer of the vein disconnects and the blood shifts, like the blood gets stuck.
How do they get that out of there?
Layer moves.
How do they get that out of there?
You have to wait until it moves. If it takes too long, then you have to get like a stent or something like that in your vein.
Is there some sort of drugs or something they gave you that helps it, or they just tell you
blood thinners for high blood pressure? Those help. Low cholesterol helps, which is not me. I'm high cholesterol. Low stress. So when you're stressing, your veins constrict, and that makes it harder for things to pass through. There's things going through your veins all the time.
That's true.
It's not like an uncommon thing.
Heroin for me, but what?
Yeah, that might have been nice this past week.
That would have been morphine would have been great if that was running through your veins. It can't be dissolved. It can't be pushed aside. So yeah, my dad had this. You had a mini stroke. His was kind of a mini stroke too, but his actually made him kind of slur and did yours do that? I can't remember.
For a long time, even after the stroke was over.
Yeah. No. No. He was until he went and got his arteries cleaned out in the back of his neck. Then everything came back perfect, which is when he went to memory therapy. And when he got there, they said, "Okay, you're done." They said, "Well, I just got here." I said, "Yeah, but you remembered to come. That's all you needed. When you remembered to show up to memory therapy,
that means it worked.
That means it works. Your memory's working."
Good job.
So my question is, and this isn't one of the questions here, is about spouses. When your spouse becomes debilitated or has something like yours, obviously isn't debilitating, but it could be for some where you're in a stroke. We had some people on the ship, my wife and I saw. The husband had a stroke and he was now here talking. He knew what he wanted to say, but he couldn't say it. And he's always going to be in his chair for the rest of his life. And he's in his mid-50s. And here's his wife. This is my life from now on.
Right. So with mine's just been crisis events. It's not been long-term effects. Mm-hmm. And my husband is not good with that. He gets stressed
so what
out.
You're saying is, you're going home immediately. If something happens, you break a finger, you're going right in the home, just with a cast on your hand.
You're gonna be like, I don't know what to do with this. So, he's not a good nurse.
Do you get? I'm not the greatest nurse in the world, but I'd figure it out, and my wife is very good at that kind of stuff. But just the thought about that now. How much time is it going to take you to understand this is your life now? You know what I mean?
I know. Stupid healthy choices I have to make.
I know. You need to make better healthy choices. But what about, do you have any clients that are in this situation where, a Newt Gingrich? Oh, my wife's just going to have cancer? I think I'll just leave and find a younger one. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. I actually do. I have had, whether it be sometimes it's teenagers whose parent has cancer or something debilitating. Sometimes it's a partner, and because depending on your upbringing and how you handle trauma, there's a certain crowd of us that handle trauma by disconnecting. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, oh, super stressful, scary moment. Bye. And when you're in a relationship, if that's how you handle trauma, that is not going to go well. So you kind of have to overcome your trauma habit, your trauma response habit, because your partner needs you to connect. And so you can't keep that old habit. You have to change it up so you can be there for them.
How do you know before you get married what their trauma habits are going to be like and whether they're going to be somebody that'll be able to jump in and take care of you later?
So this is what I tell people. This is why I'm not a big fan of rushing into relationships, because you have to see your partner when they're really stressed out. How do they handle being really stressed out? Do they shut down, turn into a turtle, and you feel like they dropped off the planet? Or do they come and talk to you and share it with you and, want to just process it with you? That would be healthy. Or do they attack you? Okay. When they're stressed out, do they want to project it and be mean to people? Not good either. So turtles and attackers, not good. Process and share, and let's handle this as a team. A++.
A++. Well, the whole COVID thing shows you how that works. We've got half of these crazy people, angry, mad, not going to do anything, and then the other people that just run towards the problem and try to fix it. But my thought too is, though, there's different kinds of people. There's people who aren't good in a panic situation. Like if something's I'm thinking about my sister-in-law, who is tremendous problem solver, engineer, amazing. If there's a problem, or if somebody, if she had to take care of somebody who was an invalid, man, my wife, same, amazing job. Mm-hmm. But if there is a crisis right now, and she's probably gonna be mad I told you this, we had bad weather coming through our 4th of July picnic many years ago. And we thought it was a tornado, and she just ran through screaming, "It's a tornado! It's a tornado!" Just no concept of just until you know what to do. If there's just crisis, there's people that just can't handle this immediate.
So that's a different level. Okay. That's a different level. So there's really stressful, and then there's extreme emergency.
Yes.
So in really stressful situations, I shut it down. I clench my teeth. I deal with it. I'm super calm. Okay. Mm-hmm. In an emergency, like I was at October 1, in an emergency, I become super controlling.
Wait. You're going to have to tell everybody what October 1 was again and where you were.
So October 1, and I don't even remember what year it was, but we had this crazy shooter at a country concert.
There's your first problem, going to a country concert.
Shut up. What? I like country concerts. So I had been going every year. I love it. It's a 3-day event. It's like everybody's so happy. It's so great, wonderful. And it was October 1st. I think it was the last day of the event. And it was the finale of the night. I think it was Jason Aldean, and he's like, we're all excited. And I'm a little adventurous. So I'm like going up there to the stage. I'm like trying to make my way. I'm short and small, so I can like sneak through people and go up to the front of the stage. And as we're up at the front of the stage, we start to hear sounds like the speakers were popping or like, electric whatevers, or maybe like they were doing a fireworks show, and we're like, all like, what's that sound? Maybe it's big speakers, and speakers pop. Okay. Sometimes they pop. And so like turned into, no, some crazy person was trying to kill everybody. So when you're at that level, that could be the same or a different response. Okay. So it turns out I'm different than at that level than I am at like, let's say medium to high stress. I'm different at a super high emergency stress. Medium to high, I shut it down. I'm like,
remind us of what you did at the concert when that happened.
It was crazy. It was crazy. So you didn't know where it was coming from. So in your head, it's like, oh my God, someone's trying to kill me. That's like the thing that's in your head. Oh my God, someone's trying to kill me. And I get angry. Okay. So I'm like, what the freaking hell? Someone's trying to kill me. And I'm turning into like a ninja, trying to find little crawl space to hide in. So the bullets aren't just aiming right at me. And I'm like bossing people around, get in there, push in there. Like, I'm like super aggressive. Well,
at least you weren't super scared and, screaming, we're all going to die.
No. When I get that intense, it turns out I become like super aggressive.
Yeah. You're like, we need you in the war.
I didn't even know that was in me. Didn't even know I had it until that situation.
Because when I get and I haven't been in that big a situation, but when I get in situations where it's immediately, this is an emergency right now, I become focused and I get quiet
and I start to look towards what to do. I don't panic and worry and scream and yell and stuff like that. My thing is, I don't know how I would be with just this long-term stress of any kind. Like you don't know how it's going to end. Now, I've been fine in the pandemic and stuff like that, but when it comes down to taking care of somebody who is totally disabled for years, I don't know how I would deal with that. My dad did it with his mom, 2 years. My mom has done it. I just hope to have enough money to hire it out,
That's what I think I would do, because that long-term trauma I'm not really good with either. And so it takes a toll on my body, obviously, as we've learned over the past few years. So I'm, in order to stay alive, I know I would have to delegate.
Yeah. Well, now here's interesting, because the person that's commenting right now, Elena, she works, what she does for a living is she works in-home as in-home care for an elderly man, and his wife is more functional, but she is also has dementia. So if you want to, Elena, put anything about dealing with that in there, you can. I know that, I don't know if I could do it, but I know that although I wouldn't be the guy to be like, I love these guys, like the Newt Gingrich's, like, I'm out, I'm getting divorced, or you're in a home, I'm just bye, and just not go see him. Not, that I don't know if I've got that in me either, unless it's so far that you can't, there's people you can't help. You don't have the capability to help them.
Right.
And
know your limits, know your skill set.
Yeah. Supreme Court Justice, what's her name? Who was it? Not Collins. Who was the one? She died recently. Oh, well, her husband, the first Supreme Court Justice, female, first one. Come on, somebody. First
Sandra Day O'Connor?
Yeah, Sandra Day O'Connor.
Ginsburg?
No, Sandra Day O'Connor. So Sandra Day O'Connor's husband, he had Alzheimer's, dementia. She couldn't put him in a home. He forgot who she was. She had to divorce him so he could marry somebody in the home, because he had no idea who she was. He married somebody at the end of his life with dementia in the home that he fell in love with, because he forgot who his wife is. So that, in a way, was more compassionate of her to do that and more giving than anything else. So, all right. I don't know. I just want to talk about that. I apologize. Let's start. The first question is,
funny.
How many women can I bang? No. This is an interesting question. How many times can you get married before it seems like you have a problem? How many times? What is the problem number of marriages?
And what is... I would give it more than 2, because you really should have learned. You should have learned all that stuff. The first one, like, you should have learned your issues, what to look for, get some therapy, recover from that, get nice and healthy, then go to number 2. But if you go to number 2 and you didn't learn something.
I'm going to say 3, because the second is a rebound marriage. You married, you fell apart here.
That's
you married
problem,
the nanny.
then.
You married the what?
Then that would be a problem.
No, that's not a problem.
Don't do rebound marriage. Healthy people don't do that.
You ran screaming to the rock. And then the third one is the one that poisoned you and you died. That's the third one's the one where you're like, okay, now I really. So,
well, that would be a problem then, wouldn't it?
Yes. So what about Larry King? Larry King he died. He was on 8.
So, like, come on. I know slow learners, ideally you would pick carefully the first one, but a lot of us, don't know stuff when we're young. And so if the second one, I'm thinking if you're over 25 for your second marriage, you should learn something.
I don't think so. I think you should just, because you want to be, some people have some sort of religious thing. They have to be married to have sex. So they just keep getting married, get divorced, find another one, get married, and they just keep serial marrying people because they want new blood. They need new blood.
I just share my number, Brad. Share my number.
That's right. Well, I think, and then that's how the Mormons
if you know someone like that, they need help.
Yeah. The Mormons fixed it by just marrying as many people as you can at once. You just have all of the people.
They also changed the definition of sex.
How'd they change it?
So certain things are not considered sex.
I think everything besides well, the old
Not
back
to
door.
them.
Not considered. Yeah, the old back door is not sex. To the I've heard. I used to work at Provo a lot, and you would hear that they're like, yeah, we decided that you can do that. So that what that stops me though from saying is I can't now say I'm not having sex with my wife because we're definitely not doing that either. So what do I have? We're not having sex, and we're not having sex. I don't know what we're doing.
Find a new hobby. That's what
Find
I
a new
say.
happy touch. Okay. How old do the kids have to be before you can? Okay. Tell me what this even means. How old do the kids have to be before you can let the headboard bang freely?
I'd say never
Well, I don't even know
let
what that
that
means.
happen.
Tell me what that means.
All right. It's so your kids hear you having sex. How old do the kids have to be before they can hear you having sex?
Oh, before
Let's
you can be
not.
very loud during
Yes.
sex. How old do
Yes.
they have to be? So you should keep it quiet
When
as
they're
much
in
as
the house.
possible.
Yes.
When they're in the
Yes.
house, as much as possible,
Mhm.
or at least try to keep it
Mhm.
quiet. But
I don't know why anyone has to hear that.
no.
That's your private area. Like you don't need to have your personal business on a loudspeaker.
Yeah, you got to try. I mean, I remember, like, I think about my wife and I, and you got to try so hard to be quiet. It's like, and that's me. So that's me. So
That's what hotel rooms are for. If you want to bang that headboard, you go in a hotel room.
yeah, but then you're
Go
feeling like
at it.
here's what's weird is people who have no problem in a hotel or something like, no, they won't do it. They'll do it in front of their kids, but scared of the hotel. Like they're real loud to things, but they get in the hotel and they're like, oh, what are the neighbors going to
Oh
think
my
in the hotel
gosh.
of me? But
You care more about what the stranger in the next room thinks than your child.
that's very happy. My grandmother would never, everything was the neighbors, everything. We couldn't do anything. She was always mad at us because what would the neighbors think? What would the neighbors think? The neighbors are going to hate us. The neighbors are going to think they're, and so we got to do nothing. She was always mad and always at us.
Children laughing. The neighbors will hate it.
I remember I was in the hotel just the other week. Where was I? And I was in the hotel and they were just going at it. It was just loud. Yes. Oh, it's amazing. And I was just banging. I was like, hey, let me in. Let me in. Okay, yeah, I got in. So,
How are those cruise walls? The cruise ship room
oh
walls?
man, every once in a while, see the crew doesn't seem to. I don't know. Okay, so when you're in the crew area, sometimes, like I've never had sex in a crew area because I've never had anybody sex with in a crew area. My wife's never been there. We have had sex in a regular passenger cabin, very thin walls. And you can hear everything going on in the other room. To one time where I heard a man beating his wife and
Oh my gosh.
her screaming, stop hitting me. And I had to grab a steward and say, get security, as I'm trying to get them to stop. He got arrested. So that was nice. But yeah, no, and we've heard people go one time. Oh my God, we were in a room. And the next room, yeah, okay, everybody. We were in a room
Don't tell anybody.
And next door, you heard this woman just loving it, just really all the noises in the world. We're like, oh my gosh, we're so quiet. We're trying to be quiet. Like we can't laugh. We're like, oh God, she's going to hear us hearing her. And so it gets over, and then you hear like the TV come on, right? And like then 10 minutes later, there's a knock at her door. And then the door opens before she could, and it's her husband coming back in the room.
Oh.
So at first we thought there was no one else in there because no one left in between.
Her enjoying her own company?
Her enjoying her own time. She enjoyed her own
that
time.
Loudly.
Loud. And I've never thought about the fact that someone would be that loud alone. You know what I mean?
You know what? I haven't really thought about that. But
the shame alone keeps me quiet. Yeah, the shame alone keeps me quiet.
I know, it's like, don't let anybody know you're doing this.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm just the whole time. I'm just disgusted the whole time anyway. So it's like, what am I great?
That is interesting. I haven't
So
really thought
loud.
about that. Now I'm going to have to take a survey.
And screaming stuff, like yes and oh my god, just I just what? You're alone. Who are you? Who's this show for? Us? Is it for us next door?
That is so funny. I'm going to have to ask around. I don't know. Does everybody do that?
Is everyone loud? Because there's no way.
With just themselves?
With just themselves. Unless one of her maybe she knew there were people next door, and one of her things is, I like to, and the husband just didn't do it for her. You know what I mean? She had to do it for
Look at Elena's parents. They sound like this.
Yeah, what is this? What? Wait, that reminds me when I was 5. My dad told me it was pigeons making the noise, but I know now that it was. It was what? Pigeons.
It's like pigeons or mockingbirds that you say words now too. They're like, ooh, ee, ah. Those are pigeon words.
Well, you know what your house is like if you have a parrot and the parrot is screaming, "Do me." Oh God.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay,
you walk into someone's house and their parrot starts saying stuff. You're like, what's going on in here?
I forgot the question. The headboard banging freely. Never, don't bang the headboard freely.
That's a never, thanks.
And
whether it's your children, guests, siblings, parents, can it just Can you just not?
No. Now I don't know which side to take on this one. It says in really bad handwriting, it says, "Can it get any better?" with a question mark. How do you take that?
I don't know. Is that like, I can take it as a happy person going like, can it get any better than this? Because this is awesome.
I can't. I'm saying it's somebody who's like, this is so amazing. Can it get any better than this?
Right.
It's just, I don't think it can get better. Or it can be, God, can it get any better? Ugh, you know what I mean?
Because this is terrible.
Because this is terrible. So
and what is it? The relationship? Is it sex? Is it like?
Well, it's a question about marriage. So I think it's the whole marriage thing. Just the marriage, the whole life.
Marriage itself.
The life of being married.
Get better. If you get better, it gets better. How about that?
Well, and I will say this. Somebody asked me the other day, what I like people who say, what was the best time of your life? Now, what are you talking about? Now, your life should be growing as you go. Now, there are times
there are like moments. There are sections that were especially nice.
Oh yeah, no, college was great. There was times, but as I grow in my life, I didn't peak in high school. I didn't peak at, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then everything's downhill from there. My life has been this way as marriage has been. You know what I mean? It's not, can it get any better? Yes. And it's gotten better and it will continue to get better till the nursing home. It does work though. It takes a little effort.
No. Yeah. And that's going to keep continuing until she stubs a toe and I put her in a home. That's going to be
stubs her toe.
That's all it takes. Little broken toe
and done.
Like, and then it gets better. Then it gets better because I get another one. And okay.
Oh yeah, the serial.
The serial marrier. So all right, here we go. We got a couple more, and then I've got a quiz that I don't know what it is. Is 13 years old too late to choose adoption? I say that's the best time to choose adoption. They're good.
Are you like adopting in or adopting out?
I think they mean adopt their kid out.
Nope. Like, yes, adopt my child. They're 13.
Adopted to somebody else at 13.
Well, unfortunately, there are a lot of foster teenagers out there who will wish to be adopted, whether 13, 14, or 15.
By the way, everybody, I will say this. If you want to, a good thing to donate luggage to your local foster care communities and stuff like that, because kids need luggage because they move around a lot.
They're using garbage bags, guys.
Yeah, they're using garbage bags. So donate luggage. So is 13 years old too late to choose adoption? Now, let's look at it the other way. If you are looking to adopt a 13-year-old, do it. That's the perfect age to adopt somebody. Perfect.
That would be a good age.
16, you're almost out the door, but 13, 12, 11, that age, just preteen, that is the perfect age to adopt a kid for anybody who's out there looking to adopt.
So we'll interpret that question like that. They want to adopt.
They're looking to adopt a child. 13 is perfect. Get your Annie in and you'll be perfect. And maybe they'll be hard workers. You can put them together, get them Get them in the sweatshop. Get them making shoes. Get 50 of them. So what do you think about? I never knew until recently that you got money to be a foster parent, that they gave you money.
Yeah, you get a stipend. You get a monthly income.
How much is it?
I don't know. I think could be 500 or more a month per kid.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. People should. Well, and people got 40 kids in their house. I guess that's been in television shows where, I guess that's what the lady in Annie was doing with all the kids that she took in.
That was an orphanage, but okay.
Same kind of thing, but okay.
Ish.
Okay. Let's see. One more, and then we're getting out of here. What is the best form of discipline for a child?
It's called positive parenting.
I was going to say headboard banging.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what?
You better do what I say or you're going to hear something later.
You're going to hear the headboard banging. Just
You're
like
going to hear that.
the thing you said the other day kills on stage. When we were talking about how do you get kids to not watch porn, and you said, watch it with them. Kill. I've added a bunch of stuff to it, but like that's the face your mom makes right there. Look right there. That's what your mom looks like.
That position, that's our favorite. That's our favorite one right there.
That's our favorite. Look, think of your mom right now doing that right there. So
your mom does that better than that lady does.
Yeah. Oh, your mom does that so much better. See, that's the same thing with this. Best way to discipline a kid, make them listen to you have sex.
Oh gosh. They would be so obedient.
Hey, by the way, everybody, before we do the quiz, New Year's Eve, the virtual comedy show, we are doing 4 hours, every hour to midnight for every time zone, a different show every hour. Every hour. So if you have nothing to do, and you shouldn't because it's Omicron days, you shouldn't have anything to do. You should be at home. Start at 10:15 Central, 11:15 Eastern, and start watching our show. We have special guests, comedy, jokes, music. Al Ernst will be there. Steve and I, Patty Vasquez. Come on out and watch the show. You can stay for your hour or all 4 hours because it will all be different. Okay, here it is. Are you ready for this quiz?
I am ready. What's the title?
Marriage.com. What?
Oh, I was like, what's the title of it?
Is my husband depressed or just a mess? So let's see. Question 1. Doing things your husband enjoys has recently not brought him pleasure, brought him less pleasure than normal, brought him the same pleasure as always. Okay, if it's C, why are we even doing the quiz? What?
Yeah, so C, so it's depressed, a mess, or fine.
Yes.
Okay, so A is depressed. No, A is a mess, B is depressed, and C is fine.
So if he's a mess, and what does a mess mean, by the way?
Mess, like needs immediate help.
Okay, so not just depressed, literally emotionally a basket case.
Yes.
How would you not know that?
I know, like you need to take a quiz. You're like,
my husband has been punching the wall, banging his head, crying endlessly, even though he haven't done it before. I need to take a quiz at this point. So
I think we need to take a quiz.
I think the quiz should be, is he a little somber or is he fine? Okay. So, okay. In the past 6 months, your husband's sleeping habits have gotten worse, stayed the same, improved. Is he depressed?
Once again, to me, it looks like mess, depressed, fine.
Wait a minute. If his sleeping, when you say improves, does that mean he's sleeping more? Because if you sleep more, you're depressed.
Well, no, sleeping habits, to me, improved habits would be waking up well, sleeping a good amount of time, sleeping well, quality time, like not fitfully, like that.
Yeah, but how are you, if you sleep the same as you've always slept, how are you suddenly depressed?
Well, the way I'm thinking is this is a person who, this quiz is for people who think their partner is depressed, and depressed is long-term. So it would be like, they've always had trouble sleeping, or they've always like only slept 5 hours a night, things like that.
In the past 6 months,
I'm the benefit of the doubt.
in the past 6 months, your husband's eating habits have increased or decreased, changed slightly, stayed the same. Changed slightly. What the hell does that? Maybe he's eating better. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's getting healthier.
That could be like kind of getting slightly depressed. Yeah, changed slightly, like improved. I don't know if that is what we're looking at. But I'm thinking like starts eating more.
He had 1 egg and he usually has none. I don't know. Drastic changes. Now, is it gaining or losing weight?
This is not a diagnostic tool. Just a disclaimer.
No.
This is not a diagnostic tool.
Is it, do you gain a bunch of weight and you're depressed, or you lose a bunch of weight and you're depressed?
Either. It depends on the
person.
If
I lost a bunch of weight, I'd be less depressed. If I gained a bunch of weight.
No, you're like skinny dude. If you lost a bunch of weight, you'd be like a skeleton. I think that would be a problem.
I have been a skeleton. 136 I was down to, and I felt great.
Gosh.
Everyone else was mad at me. I was 136, 8-pack abs. I was the size of a swizzle stick, and I felt great. Felt great. It was everybody else. I got depressed. People were bugging me all the time. Your husband has gone through a traumatic event in the past year. Gone through a traumatic event at some point in his life, never gone through a traumatic event.
So I'm going to say, like, the questions are questions that we ask. Okay. Yes. But like the way they're given the answers, it's so simplistic. Like I would ask somebody, so have you ever had trauma in your life? Like this is an intake, right? So have you ever had a traumatic event? And they're like, yeah, when I was, a teenager, I had a car accident, and, my friend died or whatever. And okay, that would be B. And then I'm like, okay, possibly depressed. Could be, that's why they're coming in. If it's A, gone through a traumatic event in the past year, and they're coming in, something's wrong.
We have a problem. Because nowadays, a traumatic event is this. Oh my God, I've had so much trauma. The waiter didn't put my dressing on the side. Oh my God.
Starbucks closed early. And I can get my
Starbucks put regular sugar in my latte.
Oh my God.
And I need a dog. Something. That's trauma. PTSD.
I am not going to judge. Trauma is subjective. It can be traumatic to them.
Then there's another whole problem. If because your croissant was warmed, the trauma is so huge. I can't believe it. The Kardashians have gone off the air. Oh my God.
That is traumatizing.
I can't go to work for a year. That's the problem. Okay. And your husband, I don't know what it would be for him. If you were to confront your husband about his attitude lately, would he deny being depressed? I'm not depressed. Say he needs help. I need help.
That's a mess. If a husband goes, I need help, he's a mess. Get help.
Yes. How did you not know?
Get to therapy.
You had to ask him, and he immediately said, yes, I need help. Where the hell have you been?
Then you're like, whoosh.
The fact that I'm lying underneath the bed right now, holding a doll. What?
This is a very not clued in wife.
I'm sucking my thumb under a bed, holding a doll.
And she's like, you need help. Do you need any help on there?
Now, I've acknowledged being in a funk, but I'm not depressed. I've never been depressed.
If the funk lasts longer than a few months, that's going to be depressing.
What? I say you need to be deep in the funk because the funky is the way to be. I'm talking about
yes. Funk. You're an artist.
I am in the funk, man. No. I am funky. Isn't that good?
Those creative types.
That's right. That's right. But I get thoughtful and in a funk but really, if somebody says, "Hey, are you in a funk?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am. I'll stop doing it now for you."
Yeah, if your funk is a choice and you can get out of it,
my funks.
That's not necessarily depressed.
Yeah. Yes. Are you funky? I think the cheerleaders said it directly. Are you funky as a chicken or whatever? I can't remember the cheer.
They're like, is it your funk or did you leave some cheese in your suitcase?
Yes. Is the funk in your underwear? Okay, one more. Ooh, here's one. Does your husband have a history of mental issues? A family member with a history of mental issues? No history of mental issues himself or his family.
A history of mental health issues. Well, we all should have at least one episode of mental health somewhere in our life. A family member, that should be yes for everybody. Okay. I don't think there's a human being who doesn't have a family member with some mental health something.
Nah,
There's no
I'm
perfect
not
human.
sure.
There's
I don't
no
know what.
perfect.
Well, I know. I just mine are
No
people
one says
not.
they need medicine. No one says like they should be in a hospital.
Yeah.
But mental health issues, you can't be like, what? No one in my family has ever had any mental health issues. That's ridiculous.
1 in 3 people are crazy. So if you're with your family and you look at your mom, not crazy, look at your dad, they're not crazy. It's you. You're the one that's crazy. So
then that would be A.
That would be A. Yes, brought up being a history of mental issues. I don't know. I am of the thought that everyone should have some sort of counseling in their life. Everyone should have some sort of someone to talk to. Some people need medication. Some people don't. Make sure it's the right medication. Everybody but me. I don't need any of it. So
normal. And here's Elena. And so define normal. Normal is a statistic.
That's right. So 61%. That's normal. So of what? I have no idea. Of
right.
What.
So right now, I'm okay not being normal.
Yeah.
With this crowd out there.
Again, I don't have mental issues because I'm not burdened with memory or, or emotion. That's why I have no.
Lucky you.
I can't remember any trauma, even if I had it, and I have no emotions about it after that. So I've been the luckiest man on the planet Earth. But I want to understand. But I love people who have that. Then they can't understand anybody else who's ever had a mental problem. They get mad at them. Just be me. What's wrong with you? Just stop being you and be somebody else. No, it doesn't work that way.
Do what I do.
Yeah, do it.
Handle it like I handle it.
That's how rich white people are. They're like, yes, minorities and people in Africa in the sand, just live as I've lived. Follow me.
Invest your money.
Yes. How dare you?
I need bread.
Yes, how dare you small children in Botswana who are in the dirt? Just put your money into Bitcoin. I think it was Rand Paul who said, why these poor people just borrow the money from your father to go to college. What's wrong with you, idiots? I know. Terrible. White people are the worst. Last one. When you and your husband go out together, does he seem completely zoned out, seem to enjoy the time together, but still in a funk? That's what you want. You want him funky when you go out.
He's with his like feather and his big hat.
His feather, he's got his big
velvet like pantsuit. We're like,
he's got that. Says a keep on trucking on his car.
Right. Big flare bell-bottom pants.
Yes. Seems to enjoy.
That's Brad's funk.
That's my funk. Well, no, I mean, my wife asked me not too long. She goes, what's going on? You're in kind of a funk. And we were out and I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about what we're doing next and what's going on and what I have to get done with this other stuff. Sorry to be out of it. I'm not in a funk. So let's get in here and do whatever we're doing. And I try to get out of it.
I'm going to give people a tip. If you're prone to funks, bored and lonely are not your friends.
Wait a minute.
Okay? Bored and lonely can trigger a funk easily.
Yes. I always say too, don't just isolate yourself. Get out there and get involved in stuff and get with people and get stuff like that. Yeah. See, I'm just the opposite. I get in a funk if I'm around people too much.
You know that little Dr. Seuss Cat in the Hat? They had little thing 1 and thing 2.
Yeah.
And when you let them out, they like destroyed everything. That's bored and lonely.
Yeah. But I get
They're evil.
But I'm better at not being around people. Like maybe this group. Like that's why I'm a comedian. When I'm on stage doing the show, great. But if I have to stand there after and hang out with people or go to a party and talk to people or have just people around and I'm not in charge, that's when I get depressed. I can't. Let me the hell out of there. I have to be in charge.
There's a difference between alone and lonely.
That's true. Yes.
Alone is a choice. I would like to be alone now. Thank you very much.
Well, and
Lonely
I'm
is not a choice. Lonely is I want to be connecting with somebody and there's no one to connect to.
Yes. I'm good with my own company, I think, too. I have no...
right? I think that's an important thing. I think everybody should be good with their own company before you get in a relationship.
Yeah. And then be good in their company, too, and like to be in their company. So,
and find good company. Like,
don't push them out of your company. I'm also good in the company of just the wife and the kid, too. I'm good in that company, too.
Small group settings.
Small groups. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Donna. She's had a heart attack and she needs to de-stress.
Currently having one, as like it's a 5-day long heart attack.
Oh my God. So know this, if it doesn't go well, her husband is out the door. Okay. We will. It's just
come help me.
Come help me. By the way, when you said you tell people to make sure, in relationships to spend some time getting to know each other, just the opposite of what you did.
Right? Because what did I do? Hi, how are you? Let's move in. Now
let's move in. Yes, I know. So, all right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Happy New Year.